5 to 1, baby. 1 and 5. No one here gets out alive. All right. All righty. Heyday Zombie Wolf. All right, we're on. Sorry.
We're on, yes.
We are on. Well, we're attempting to have a voice today, Terry. So we'll see how that goes. You can just come read my words. All right, good morning. Wait.
Good morning.
And welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Central Texas, where we think more expansively, love more completely, and live more joyously. All right. And I'd like to say a special thank you to Glenda for a wonderful meditation. Thank you, God, for that. And a special thank you to Mitch for saving the gig. Yay. Must be present to understand that one. That's all good. All right. But let's start by saying our opening affirmation on the top of page 4. So we can come together in consciousness and kick this off with good enthusiasm. And it says, we believe that there is an infinite power and wisdom that creates everything. We are expressions of this same power and wisdom. The thoughts, beliefs, and expectations we entertain with the most energy become our experience of life. When we change our energy and our attention, our experience changes to match. All right. And a couple of quick announcements. Many of you know Dirk Colpart, who is otherwise known as Mr. Melanie Colpart. His birthday is on this coming Tuesday, so happy day for that. Today we're celebrating the birth of Hound Dog Taylor. That's how you have to say it. John Landy, you do not know that name because he was the second person to ever run a sub 4-minute mile. We all know Roger Bannister, but you don't know John Landy. He's an Aussie. And then celebrating Tiny Tim, great keyboardist Herbie Hancock, John Kay, who loved to be born to be wild, David Letterman, Tom Clancy, who could compellingly put words together, David Cassidy, Vince Gill, and Amy Ray, whose favorite color is indigo.
Today's Jenny Reynolds' birthday.
Is it right? Well, happy birthday, Jenny Reynolds. All right. Let's invite Glenda to come up and do an opening reading and treatment.
Ernest Holmes says, "It is a beautiful and true thought to realize that every person stands in the shadow of a mighty mind, a pure intelligence, and a divine givingness." From the Science of Mind textbook. So let us tune into that one mind, the mind of God, that infinite divine intelligence that we are in and of. That mind is God's mind. That mind is our mind right here, right now, always available to us when we make ourselves available to it. And so knowing this, we just feel our hearts opening, our minds opening to an even greater and greater realization of the power and the presence that is within us, that we give with our divine givingness out to the world. For we are one with that Creator, that source of all life, source of love that lives where we are, as we are and who we are. And so today, as we come together in community, connecting with one another, feeling the vibrations of that love within us and without us, we just give thanks for this knowing, this truth that we are one. There is one mind, that there is one love. one life. And so we are here today to receive a message that will enliven us, energize us, remind us. We are here to feel the music through Miss Emily and the power of electricity. And we are here to receive. And so with that, in our knowing, we just feel that gratitude of heart. And so we give thanks. And so it is.
So it is now.
Now, so Miss Emily Shirley, here to
Good
give us.
morning.
Yay.
I'm so happy to be here. When I was driving here, I was thinking that my biggest problem today so far was the weather making my hair insane.
Mine too.
I know, it's tough. It's tough. I feel like a lioness. Thank you, Mitch, so much for helping me with my amp, my electrical issues. This song is a reminder of, it's about first friends in the summertime. And it's a reminder of what it is to be a kid running wild outside, swinging. When will I see you again? We were climbing up over the fence. You moved in, we wrote hello in chalk. Summer was just starting off. We gathered bugs in a jar. We rode on our bikes like race cars. And at night we slept out on the porch. The moon lit the sky like a torch. And we swung as high as the sky. We touched the moon with our hands. Two bright little stars, the whole wide world was ours, but we still had to be home by dark. La, 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 Summer would end fast as it came. Our school friends would show us new games. Still you're there, you're my other bookend, a thread forever woven in. And we roads on the map, the space where our hearts overlap. We were queens of the hurl in the backyard, and the woods with 10 and life was good. We swung as high as the sky. We touched the moon with our hands. Two bright little stars, the whole wide world was ours, and we still had to be home by dark. When will I see you again? You were climbing up over the fence. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Emily.
You're welcome. Thank you.
For those who need to know, that was G sharp, E flat, and G. Really matters. And that was a good key for you, so that's good. All right, and we're back. Yay! We continue our April series on the 4 agreements of the book by Don Miguel Ruiz that we started last week. And again, we've all agreed, see what I did there? Huh? We've all agreed that we either have read this book or we're perhaps even read the book multiple times, or we're at least familiar enough with the 4 agreements by osmosis, as these ideas have been around since its publishing in 1997. It really got into the collective zeitgeist when Oprah recommended it in 2001, and it was off to the races from there. So not new ideas to us, and really not new ideas at all when you look at ancient wisdom. But truth has a funny way of circling back around to us and becoming a little bit more relevant later on as we become more present and aware of what's going on within us, and by means of our observation of our interpretations, our interactions, and our reactions to what's going on. And we start to especially pay attention when we notice repetitive patterns happening again and again and again. That sense of it's deja vu all over again, right? This not only feels familiar, this is familiar. I've been through the same or eerily similar enough things before, and I remember how this turned out last time. I remember I didn't like the outcome. I told myself, never again. Quite emphatically, I told myself, not again, not ever again will this happen. And I noticed how much I meant it. So having ridden on this train before, knowing where these tracks take any train that go down that track, I choose to interrupt this pattern a little earlier in the ride and change both the end result, but also I choose to change the experience from right here on out. Now, we've all been there, done that, gotten a t-shirt, right? Yes or hell yes? Hell yeah. All right. And yeah, we most certainly have been there and done that. But here's the thing, and there's really no getting around it. We can all relate to that sequencing because we've all experienced it multiple times. We all know second verse, same as the first, as Herman's Hermits shared with us, okay? We all have memories. We all have energy and emotion and meaning associated with those memories. And sometimes those things are pretty painful things that we'd rather just not. And that's understandable. That's part of our learning curve. But that exact same sequencing happened each and every time when the best and most joyous experiences happened as well. Same system. Because life always works the way life always works. Life reflects back to us, subconscious mind filters effectively, the quantum field becomes, however you want to dress it up, it's all the same thing, that whatever we give life to work with, that's what we experience. So we would learn to do best by revisiting and reviewing our previous attempts with the benefits gained from time and experience as we move on. We can pick up what worked, we can remember what didn't work, and intelligently navigate our way through whatever is before us in this moment. Now, the intention that Ruiz states in this study is to help us explore more freedom, more happiness, and more love. Hey, I'm all for that. That sounds like a good thing for us, right? So last week we discussed the first agreement, which is being impeccable with your word. How'd that go for you? I'm glad you all have participated so well. Y'all get a hall pass because you weren't here. Okay. Unless you watched online and then you. All right. Okay. More freedom, happiness, and love. But the main idea is to become aware of the agreements, both large agreements and small agreements, that we make by what we're saying yes to. What are you saying yes to? making a commitment to both ourselves and to each other, and to ourselves, keeping our promises made, and feeling the empowerment that comes from that. Which leads us to this week's agreement, which is don't take anything personally, except this sip of water. Now, that doesn't help. Let's find a point of agreement. There, we just did it again. You see how we're doing this all the time, right? Let's find a point of agreement as we look at this second agreement. Which part of you takes things personally?
Ego.
The ego. Exactly right. Exactly right. Ego. And which part of you feels a little more puffed up that you got told you were right? That would be your ego too, right? It's part of us, right? When things are happening to me, then I'm choosing the paradigm of being a victim. And just to dip our proverbial toe in the deep end a little bit, perhaps, just perhaps, we're making ourselves a little bit more important to the narrative than we really are. Just saying. He tells us that what others do is really not about us. Even if we're included in the path of destruction, even if we're collateral damage to the action, their expression is all about them, what's going on with them. Just as our expression is all about us and what's going on with us. Again, it doesn't mean we're not affected by what they do or what they don't do. We certainly are. But our experience is always going to be, and it's always going to remain to be, our experience. Now, that could sound like we're isolating from each other, bless you. But in a lot of ways, we are isolated because we're living our life and they're living their life, right? Now, this agreement, don't take anything personally, this one's hard. Just as all the other agreements are hard in their own ways. But our concern about what other people think about us, that one's driven down pretty deeply, right? From early on, right? I got it from my mother in the form of, what will the neighbors think? And you know what? That matters to me now. It matters. It still matters, but it's much more minuscule. Okay? It is so deep because it is so often revisited. It's how anything gets deep. But let's have another agreement. People forget. They dismiss, they project, they criticize, they overlook, they disappoint. They blame, they react, and they withdraw. And that doesn't feel good when it happens. But when that happens, something within us wants to turn around and immediately ask, what does this mean about me? What could be wrong with me that they're doing this to me, right? And we can easily fall into fight or flight or freeze, right? If we locate our power as being elsewhere, we will always be subject to the ways and whims of whoever is most overt in our environment. And there is so very much that we internalize that really has very little to do with us, what is our path, what is ours to do. And ego makes us more a part of the equation than we really are, more important than we may feel, which is a coping mechanism, and it's understandable. Living in the paradigm that it's all about me keeps us from bringing our absolute best to the situation, to whatever's before us, from providing the solution that only we can provide. Ruiz shares, you take it personally because you agree with whatever was said. I most certainly do not agree with that big load of hooey I just heard. But your disagreement is starting to validate the argument, the need for the argument. Reeves goes on, he says, nothing other people do is because of you, it's because of themselves. Which is something Holmes picks up when he says, we each live in our own mental atmosphere. Consciousness is the lens through which life is interpreted. consciousness is the lens through which life is interpreted. What we're really doing is asserting ourselves, or more likely inserting ourselves into the mix because it helps us feel relevant. And the truth is, whatever they do or whatever they say, however they behave, is most of the time it's them working out, or more often them trying to deflect and avoid having to work out their own stuff. It's their own stuff, as we've been saying for weeks now. We all got stuff. Yeah or hell yeah? Hell yeah. Okay. He goes on, he says, if you take it personally, then you take the poison and it becomes yours. Not to mention that they start to get you to think about and focus upon what they want you to think about and focus upon, instead of what is yours really to do. Again, whatever we say yes to becomes our experience, whether it makes any sense or not, whether it makes our blood boil or not. Always remember that it becomes our experience immediately upon the very first moments of the agreement. I like this one. He says, you eat their emotional garbage and it becomes yours. Garbage. Okay? He says, you make something big out of something so little because you feel the need to be right and make everyone else wrong. Again, ego at play. Then he turns it around. He says, it does not affect me because I know what I am. I don't have the need to be accepted. And that's a big part of this. Our need to be accepted, our need to be approved of, our need to be liked and included in some group, or any group for that matter, our need to be validated like a parking ticket so we don't have to pay a toll. There's always a cost to each and every agreement, whether it's verbal or mental or written. Because by agreeing, we're joining our path, our energy, and our resources with another person or a group of other people. Now, we all have our own opinions. We all have our own viewpoints, our perspectives, our own beliefs, because that's how we validate our sense of self, how we justify our actions, how we justify our inactions. Your point of view is personal to you. It's valid in your opinion, and it makes sense to you, as it should. But here's the thing. I don't have to agree with you. And you don't have to agree with me for this to be true for me, right? That's not the point. Although the ego does love validation and loves that we're getting it right, because it feels good to feed the ego. As I was paying attention to not taking things personal, I was still doing my best to be impeccable with my word, and I caught myself twice this week saying, okay. And I had to correct myself in my interaction with somebody. Not once, but twice. It's all right. But 2 is better than 200. Right? But in my day trading, I noticed that I do take it personal. When I enter a position and I win, whoo-hoo, I am good, I am smart, I am capable, look at me. Damn. Whew. That's all my hair moving, but it's one problem I don't have with the weather. I find when I lose a position, I take it personally. I'm bad, I'm stupid, I'm incapable, what a loser. But what's the common denominator there? It's still me. I'm still the same. It's the same system. No matter how I try and spin it, the market isn't being difficult to me individually, even though I've been known to say that to somebody that I live with. How was the market day? Oh, it was being difficult. The market in Chicago isn't an entity. It doesn't know that Walt entered a position in Austin, Texas. And it's not out to get me, just as it's not out to help me. It just is what it is. And it just moves the way the traders push it. And sometimes that works in my favor, sometimes it does not. Ruiz goes on, he says, even the opinions you have about yourself are not necessarily true. You don't need to take whatever you hear in your mind personally. We have a choice whether or not to accept the voices we hear within our own minds. Sometimes that voice that we hear, sometimes it's guidance. That's good. Sometimes it's just old programming from being habitual. Not so great. Sometimes it's just the most well-worn synapses. Okay? He goes on, only by making an inventory of our agreements will we uncover all the conflicts in the mind and make order out of chaos. Because when we take it personally, we set ourselves up for suffering. Yeah. Suffering, same as our Buddhist friends teach. We suffer because we're attached to an outcome being a particular way. It's a particular outcome that we deem best or right or most beneficial to us in the moment at the time. And the power shift really comes, the promise of peace really comes when we start shifting the paradigm from things are happening to me and shift that into things are happening for me. Now look, that does not mean that I like, accept, or approve of whatever comes along. It does not mean any and every behavior is fine. Okay? It does not mean there's no consequences, no accountability, no boundaries. It just means I stop confusing somebody else's state of consciousness or mood with my identity or my value. I do remind myself that whatever's happening is the effect of a previous cause, and that's already in motion, man. We're not stopping that. But I do work and keep working from the paradigm that things happen for me. I start to get empowered. I start to see a broader perspective. I start to see other new possibilities that I would never see or imagine remaining stuck in victimhood. Because the moment that I stop taking their reaction as proof of my worth, stop making their mood my identity, stop taking their projection as truth, I get some power back. And I can redirect that power intelligently. I ran across this term this week that I hadn't heard, but I love it. It says, some of us were raised to be emotional weather vanes. Right? Somebody else is disappointed. So now I turn that into my self-doubt. Somebody else is angry, so I automatically assume guilt. Somebody else is distant, so I create a whole lifelong story of abandonment. Anybody else ever be an emotional weather vane? Yeah. Now, this is not about denying valid points of difference between us. This is not about denying perspective offered that are beyond my current field of view. It's about not extrapolating those things into something that they're not. I notice that when others are overly concerned and overly intent on convincing me of their opinion, or desperately trying for me to take ownership of their problem, it's more about their need to convince themselves. It's more about their need for their ego's need for confirmation. What I've got at a deep core level, what really works for me is not open for debate. It doesn't need validation from the outside world. Now, this doesn't mean I seal myself off and isolate myself and become indifferent. It means that my sense of peace, of value, of power is not all wrapped up in what other people say and what other people do and what other people believe. Now, that sounds great, Walt, but that sounds like you're never triggered. I am. You guys just triggered me by saying I didn't get triggered. Doesn't mean I don't get triggered ever again. That's not the goal. It just means that I objectively notice when I've been or I'm being triggered earlier in the sequence, and I can interrupt it more quickly with something more life-affirming and expansive. Dr. Holmes goes on, he says, you are God. You are God. That'd be the one sitting in the seat where you are right now. You are God. The Spirit is always flowing into us and ever expressing itself through us, for the two are one. We have been taught that we are here and God is out there somewhere. That's a paradigm. That worked for centuries, and it did a lot of good, and it helped a lot of people, and it still does help a lot of people. I'm just starting to understand that since God is omnipresent, meaning everywhere equally present, I'm taking up some space, you're taking up some space, so that means we are God expressing, God individualizing itself as us. So the two really are one. So, here's my suggestion. Don't take it personally. Okay? Make it personal. Make God personal. Take that personally. Make your spiritual practice your what? Your regular spiritual practice. Take that and make that personal. Because there is nothing more important or more dynamic or more transformative and transcendent than getting your spiritual life, your spiritual understanding, your spiritual practice together. Making the figuring out of the spiritual part of your life more personal, more important than it's ever been before. For the more you do that, the more priority you place on the spiritual aspects of your life, the more freedom and the more happiness and the more love you will find. And the more freedom and the more love and happiness you will find in the very same life you may have previously described as limited or restricted in some way or another in one of those areas. Finding the spiritual part of who you are as a spiritual being brings you a true sense, a true experience of peace of mind. Peace of mind. And that's really the sole reason we do anything that we do. You want a loving relationship. Great. You know why you want that? Because it brings you peace of mind. You want vibrant health in your life experience. Great. Because it brings you peace of mind. You want sustainable wealth. Because it brings you peace of mind. You want meaningful work and expression because it brings you peace of mind. Pursue truth by being the center of truth in your life. Pursue peace by being peace. Find and experience love by being love. You are the one you've been waiting for, man. You're it. Tag. And you are the one all of us around you have been waiting for you to become. Waiting for you to figure out and start being the one that expresses in the ways that only you can express. You being the one that brings your authenticity, your personal, valid take on what needs to be added to the collective mix now and forevermore. That one person right there, that guy, that girl, is all you ever need. That one right there has and always will have all that you ever need. That one right there brings all that all of us around you will ever need. What we need is you. We need the real you, the authentic you, to stand and deliver all that you have to offer in all the unique and wonderful ways that only you can offer it. That is enough. You are enough. And together we make a positive difference in our individual experience, but also in our experience as this community and our human experience sharing this third stone from the sun. And so it is now.
So it is now.
All right. All right. All right, now let's look at our weekly affirmation, which is on the top of page 6. Also on the little cards by the front door on your way out. And say this together, and it says, I know who and what I am at a divine level, so the opinions and beliefs of others are of their own making. I find power and freedom in my belief about life and myself that transcends anything else. I am fully present, and I give my best to whoever and whatever is before me now. All right. So let's give ourselves the gift of our good attention. Maybe take a deep breath or two, or close your eyes, or reposition your physical form, and just allow yourself to get a little more present, a little more aware in this moment. Allow yourself to be that divine everything that you are, that you always have been, and that you always continue to be. In the midst of anything you've ever been through previously, that you are going through, or you ever will go through, you are still that divine individualization of the infinite creativity and power and love possibility of the universe. We become that as we believe it. And that improves our experience in the moment as soon as we believe it. We know that truth about ourselves, who and what we are at a divine level. So we are not swayed by the opinions or the beliefs of other people. That is their own stuff. If we can offer some helpful perspective or transcendent observations, then great. But we all got to figure out our own stuff at the end of the day. We find power and freedom in our belief about the expansiveness of life and our place in it, our ability to expand within it and experience more and share more and enjoy more than ever before. That expansive idea about ourself and life transcends anything else that comes along and tries to grab our attention, any other opinion that may come along and try and take predominance. We are fully present, and we give our best to whoever and whatever is before us in this moment, and that allows us to live fully, to bring our best, to provide the perspective and the experience that we have to the benefit of others around us and others coming along behind us on the learning curve, and move everybody forward. We love this wonderful teaching in all the ways it shows up in our life, and allows us to recognize the spiritual power and principles that are at work in all of life. We appreciate the spiritual tools we learn, how to direct that spiritual power that we learn here. We love this community of like-minded individuals that love and support each other. And we love this beautiful time together this morning, this wonderful space we have to meet in, and this wonderful technology that allows us to connect beyond this space, physical space. We love this beautiful day and this beautiful life, and we joyfully accept and celebrate with deep gratitude and joy the good that has started here today and the good that continues as we continue to focus on greater good. Loving it all, we release it with deep joy and gratitude, and let us say together, and so it is now. All right. And now we come to the time of our time together where we support this wonderful work we're doing together. We take the value we receive from the world for the value we bring to the world, and we pass that along with love and appreciation. As we do this, let's say our giving affirmation together, which is in the middle of page 6, and it says, "Divine love consecrates my gifts. They go forth to heal, to bless, and to prosper. They are evidence of my commitment. They do their good and perfect work and return to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is now." All right. And now Emily's going to do a couple of more songs, this one in E minor. No.
Yes.
Are you playing anywhere we can see you out in the world? With?
I will be at Carter Creek Winery. Fred went in the mood for a drive. It's beautiful out there. And then I'm out of town for a minute.
Okay.
Sister Golden Hair will be April 28th at the Saxon Pub at 8 o'clock. And that's with Barbara Nesbitt and Wendy Colonna, who I believe frequent the Center for Spiritual, doing shows from the 60s and 70s.
All right, cool. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that, Walt. I have had the 4 agreements on my to read list for way too long. And I think it's time I actually read it. This is a song about 2 people who had an agreement. It's called Streetlight Glow. He's staring down the barrel. Up here they were just from the hotel. Dirty walls through dingy blinds. On his knees she towers high above. And oh, look in her eyes. She's nothing like her. Oh, the sun will rise. Another day the world turns round, another day goes by. Not 2 hours ago, he was walking slow. He saw her in the streetlight glow. She had a half black eye, but he blind. And he couldn't wait. Flecks of turquoise sparked her eyes. And oh, like the girl. The sun will rise. Another day the world turns round, another day goes by. At the end, her rope undone, working 3 jobs, so her kid eat. So he took her back and he pushed her, picked her up off the ground. He only had a 20, so he tried to cheat. And oh, look what you did. You made a deal, yeah. This is it. Even so be you messed with the wrong. No, the sun will rise. Another day the world's running. Oh, the sun will still rise. Oh, the sun will still rise. Thank you. Jumped in line temporarily. I'm gonna play as a new song. The song is called Step Above. This will help. That helps with our distortion a little bit. Okay. Too much, 'cause I can't get enough. With every touch, you light me up. Let's not overthink it. Let's try not to rush. The stars above were written for us. It's late in the evening and I don't wanna leave. The way that you hold me, you know that it's just what I need. It feels like I found exactly where I should be. The stars were written for you and me. Look how we light up the night sky. Together as a spark. Don't know where you came from. Not asking why. 'Cause it feels right. Look how we light up the night sky, dancing together as the sparks fly. I don't know where you came from, and I'm not asking why, 'cause it feels right. Yeah, it feels right. Yeah, it feels right. Is it too much? 'Cause I can't get enough. With every touch, you light me up. Let's not overthink it. Let's try not to rush. The stars above were written for us. The stars above were written for us. Thank you very much. Today's music brought to you by myself and Mitch. Thank you so much.
He gets a rolling credit.
Yes.
Good. Well, thank you. That was
Thank you
wonderful.
so much for having me.
And now we come to moments of gratitude or demonstration of these spiritual principles. And I just want to say how much I enjoyed watching the Artemis project and the trip around the moon. And even though we know it happened in Ohio, okay, well, we'll give you that. But just that fascination with space that I grew up with and the program, the Apollo program and all that, it's just a delight to see that and to have something positive to focus on and collaborate. When you think all the collaboration of all the different, probably tens of maybe 100,000 people that had to have little bits to do, like my father had something to do with the lunar landing. as an engineer, all those people contributed something and it participated and made something, it made an expression happen. And it was, it was perfect and textbook and all the things they say, but it was just, I kept finding myself getting impatient. It's like, well, are they ever going to get out of the capsule? Are they ever actually going to put the raft around them? Or are they ever going to turn off the helicopters? Those ran forever once they landed on the deck. But all that works out in perfect time, and it's. I think it's interesting that I caught myself being all caught up in, well, hurry up and make it happen like a movie happens. So there's not a lot of dead space between. But it worked out great, and as I said, it's good to see people and even multiple countries come together and collaborate on something, positive. And now that this has happened so well, they're already going back, next year and the year after and working on the lunar base and all that stuff. So we can vacation on the moon. I see. All right. Anybody else have something to share? Yeah, Philip.
I just want to thank you so much for giving us something to take personally in a good way.
Uh-huh.
With service and everything, and the music, and thanks for landing us in this neighborhood that's unique and so Austin weird and everything.
Yeah.
It's very lovely.
Cool. Well, yay God for that, Phil. I know you got something. That's fine if you did. That's fine.
I'm not gonna take the spotlight.
All right. No, that's good.
Well,
Yes, Terry.
to just expand on what you're saying, I was watching the touchdown, but I was also listening to an interview with a former astronaut. I've forgotten his name, he's a senator now, I think. Anyway, but he was talking about some of the. First of all, he was talking about how the space station is always, always, always manned by people from multiple nations, different nations, including Russia and the U.S. And it is non-political. It is strictly a collaboration of the countries who support it, and it's a perfect example of how we can work together. It's politics that get in the way, or people who think they're in charge, or whatever. But the other thing was, he expanded on how the space program has changed life as we know it. We wouldn't have cell phones or cell phones with cameras or all kinds of medical discoveries or improved cancer treatments or any of that stuff without the space program
Yeah.
and the International Space Station stuff, and the importance of technology and the development of technology and all that's come from that is just so important.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it made me I'm sitting there thinking, oh my God, I remember watching them walk on the moon. What was that, 1969? It was July 21st.
Something, yeah.
It was right before my birthday, and struggling to stay awake to watch it. And I remember that so vividly, and it's kind of surprising that we haven't done anything in a really long time.
Well, like one thing they pointed out is they put the manned missions on pause, but they were still doing stuff at the International Space
Right.
Station during, and they were figuring out stuff. And there were some things that, the Challenger thing and the different funding things that got in the way. But one of my favorite quotes is, I don't remember who said it. I'd have to look it up, but it's amazing what humans can do when nobody needs to take the credit for it. And it just is a testament to what you're saying for that. So, yeah. Was there more, or you just?
No.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I didn't want to cut you off if you were still going. All right. Well, let's move on with that. Good. Let's see. Opportunity for application in your life. When you feel wronged, where are you locating your power and possibility? Elsewhere. The universe is made of power and possibility, so just accept that what you need is already here. I will be enjoying the Western Texas town of not El Paso, out in Menard, out in the middle of nowhere, and we'll be out there for a few days. And I won't be here next week, but in my absence, we are going to get treated to Bob McGarry. Yay. Yeah. And he is going to teach us about letting go of guilt. No, but I don't know, everybody here is so spiritually evolved, you don't ever have to deal with it. But I'm anxious to hear the good that Bob will share for us. We're excited about that. Next week, our musician will be Joe Mock, our friend, so that's good to see. Also, Patrice's GoFundMe is still going on, and she still needs a treatment request, so support her how you can. The book study will be back on Thursday nights in a few weeks, and I'm going to be hosting a regular spiritual practice workshop here at the Human Potential Center on April 22nd, sorry, make sure I'm here on the right day, 6:30 to 8 and it's also available on Zoom if you need. You can go to the website and there's a link, there'll be a link up there for that. That being said, let's look at our closing affirmation. And let's say this together on page 7. And it says, I am an expression of infinite divine creative intelligence. Knowing a joyful serenity awaits my recognition and acceptance, I take this moment to deepen my understanding that I am perfect, whole, complete, and dynamic. My soul is forever established in life, love, light, power, peace, beauty, and joy. I lift my eyes to the divine in me, in those around me, and in all of life. I walk out into the world with an uplifted heart and a mind open to the infinite creativity of all life, and so it is now. And I have to laugh because I said, I am an experience of infinite divine creative intelligence. It's like, well, that too. That's a good way to say it. All right, thank you very much for being here. We will see you next time. We look forward to hearing what Bob has to share with us next week, and we'll continue the 4 agreements when I get back. So good for that. Thank you.